Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. So I'm very excited. I'm joined by renowned transformation experts, that's Stephen Bowen and Dr. Terry Lyles, who have unveiled their latest groundbreaking book. It's called Becoming Invaluable. I want to do that. It's a dynamic guide to reaching unparalleled human potential. Drawing from their extensive corporate expertise, this book offers transformative insights for personal and professional growth, providing readers with practical steps to overcome challenges, achieve career goals, and establish harmonious work-life synergies. Who doesn't want that? Again, thrilled to be joined by Stephen Bowen and Dr. Terry Lyles. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. This is a great book. You discuss the attributes of knowledge, skills, attitude, health, and strength. Can one of you elaborate on how these attributes interconnect and contribute to an individual's journey of becoming invaluable, particularly in this very, very crazy today's dynamic work environment?
Well, I'll start off with knowledge, skills, and attitude, and let Terry handle the health and strength side of this. Before I even touch on that, we want to say that the bedrock underneath of this is purpose and values, right? Having a true purpose in life and a set of values that become your guideposts. But without knowledge, skills, and attitude, you don't accomplish much. And we say it very simply. Knowledge is what you need to know to do your job. Skills are what you do with what you know, and attitude is how you feel about what you do. And so we need to be contributing. We need to make deposits into our knowledge, our skills, and our attitude each and every day. And by doing that, we automatically elevate our own self-worth. And that's what we're really talking about, is how do we elevate our own self-worth? And Terry, I'll let you pick up with health and strength.
Yeah, so the title of the book, as you mentioned, is Becoming Invaluable, which we split up the word invaluable. Everyone is able to add value to themselves and others. So that's really where the title came from. So the health and strength, as Steve mentioned, with the attitude and the mindset is we're only as good as we are healthily, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. And the strength side, without some resilience and some flexibility, stops us from being the best we can be. So the book is all about how do you become invaluable in your health, your strength, to create a better and healthier self-worth, which creates an invaluableness in yourself.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Again, I'm chatting with Dr. Terry Lyles, who has a PhD in psychology and is recognized as a national, international educator, author, and speaker to schools, companies, and all sorts of different public audiences. And of course, Steve Bowen, who has a bachelor's in chemistry with a minor in economics and business from Westminster College. And he founded 2004 and chairman and CEO Main Point through a successful divestiture in 2019 after the company was recognized as top supply chain consulting firm by Forbes and Consulting US. So the subtitle of the book, Becoming Invaluable, is Develop the Willitude to Negotiate Success. Those are interesting and intriguing terms. Can you provide some real-life examples of individuals who have successfully applied these concepts, demonstrating that they can empower professionals to navigate complex situations and excel in their fields?
Yeah, well, we made the words up because every book I write, this is my fifth book, I at least make up one word because it becomes published so my children will think that I did something that was invaluable, I guess.
Oh, good.
So it is what it is. But Steve came up with willitude. I have negotiate. So Steve, start out with, what is willitude?
Well, willitude, when you sum it up, is the will, or if you will, willingness, okay, the willpower to continue forward. And it's also the fortitude. And fortitude, in the past used to be kind of referred to as physical strength, but in modern day, it's become much more about mental strength. So willitude is having the will to continue with a level of fortitude that sees you through the tough times. And we all have maybe more tough times than we do successes, because that's how we succeed, right? By failing. And so that's really important to have, because as we go through it, we have to negotiate, Terry.
Yes. And that's why I came up with, because I'm constantly talking to people about, sometimes we navigate people, we negotiate situations. Other times we're negotiating with situations and navigating people. So it goes back and forth. So it depends on what you're doing. So these two words that we use in the subtitle are consistent and congruent throughout the book, because to become invaluable just means you create something that people want to be around. They want your product, they want your service, they want your friendship. You're cool, they're fun. You just want to hang out with them. It's a je ne sais quoi. You don't always know exactly what it is, but there's something there of value, and we all have a potential to add value to ourselves and to others.
Absolutely. Again, we're chatting about the book Becoming Invaluable with the co-authors, which the book talks all about embracing setbacks. So real quick, before we have to cut to break, can you share a story from the book where somebody turned a setback into an opportunity for growth, again, as discussed in Becoming Invaluable?
Well, I will jump in here, Terry. I think it's the most powerful story. There's 9 different individuals in the book, and they're all powerful stories. The most powerful story might feel like it would be Dan Clark, who may be the most notable person in the book because he's one of the top 10 public speakers in the world. But I would suggest that on page 211, the very last story might be one of the most incredible stories where somebody took themselves from, how shall I call it, a sustenance living, okay, meaning with support from the government, etc., to today, 3 successful businesses with a great family, with constantly supporting his parents. I don't know, Terry, maybe you want to add to that, but those stories are what really turned me on.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have to cut to break. We're going to continue with the real life examples talked about in Becoming Invaluable when we return on Get Down to Business in just a moment. As always, you get on my website, syklein.com, where we'll link to this fantastic read. We'll be right back. Back with the co-authors of Becoming Invaluable, develop the willitude to negotiate success. No, that wasn't a word slip over here. Those are 2 newly created words by the co-authors, Dr. Terry Lyles and co-author Stephen Bowen. Really, really grateful for them. Again, continuing the conversation over here. So, Terry, Steve, I have to ask, there's a lot of self-help and personal development books that are out there. What distinguishes Becoming Invaluable from all of those others, and what advice would you share for our small business owners that might be tuning in?
Well, I think it starts with just the title, Invaluable. Like, we all have a potential. Talent and skill are very different things. God gives everybody talent, whatever that talent is. Whether you sing, you dance, you write, you compose, whatever it is you do. Skill is a discipline you put around it. So Steve and I wrote this book to have a skill set, which is a discipline to put around your given talent at birth to become the best you can be, which we consider an invaluableness that all of us have inside of us if we just can muster that and make that our reality.
What I would add to that, Terry, is I would just say, for many people out there, at least from my observation, having worked for several different companies and then built my own and watching the people in the company, is, people want to be successful. They want to add value. They want to become irreplaceable, if we can use that term in context of invaluableness. And the challenge is knowing how to do that for yourself. So what we've tried to do, and I think what differentiates this book, is we've tried to give the backdrop of the understanding of, if you will, the psychology, obviously where Terry comes in, to the practical application of methods or approaches, or if you want to go so far as to call it a process, for how you can actually help yourself become more and more invaluable as you move through life. Now, that's no easy task because it starts with having a purpose. And that's a really tough question to answer sometimes for people, of what is my purpose in life? But it takes you all the way through not only the purpose, the values, and as we've already talked about, the 5 attributes, it continues to take it further from many of the aspects of what we practice in the world of businesses. How do we apply that to ourselves? And that's what I think differentiates this from all the other books, of helping people to have an approach or a methodology that works for them. And that's what we've tried to create.
Yeah, and I train military personnel and ops on debriefing from post-traumatic stress. And most military people know what they're going to die for. What happens in PTS is when you come back, what are you willing to live for? And our book is trying to figure out what is your worth that you're willing to live for, not just die for, but to live for, because life is transient, and we want to live our best self every day. And that is becoming invaluable.
Absolutely. Well, lots of lessons there and lots of stories and examples in this fantastic read. I've learned a lot of new words as well. And again, I love the way you break out that word, becoming invaluable. Really, really helpful. And while I can't spell that out in our show notes, I encourage certainly all of our listeners to share this conversation. And again, pick up a copy of this read. And that's a perfect segue. Terry and Steve, how can we get in touch with you and find this great book?
Becominginvaluable.com is the best way to reach us, from our own podcasts that are there and our networking. So becominginvaluable.com. You can get us on every platform, from the book side, from Amazon, Books A Million,
Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target. It's on all of them.
Yes. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you.
That's great. Great to have two phenomenal experts and leaders on this program, and I can't wait to have you back on real soon. That's a wrap for us here on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Of course, we'll be back next week with all sorts of great content, information, and leaders teaching us all about the small business and employment community. You can always get on my website, syklein.com, and of course, get on your favorite podcast app. Just be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share so it's easier for others to find it. Let's get down to business. We'll talk to you next week.